All right, welcome to training video number 9 for life group leaders. In this video, I'm really going to kind of go over in semi-detail, but it's still kind of a survey method of going over this information, but really providing care to your life group members. Remember back from the original life group training video number 1, we talked a lot about how what are the 3 roles you have, which I'll just kind of rehearse and go over again really quickly. And first, your role as a life group leader is to plan and facilitate discussion and application nights. That really is just the workings of facilitating the group. And you use your core team to help you with all this. Next is, we're really asking you, our senior pastor and our staff is really asking you to look after the people in your group for the season that they're assigned to your group. And so we'll talk a little bit more about what that looks like. And then third is to apply personalized discipleship when it's appropriate and when it's needed for specific group members. And this kind of fits in with looking after them, but this is more in the realm of kind of pastoring people a little bit, or leading them through life, or even counseling. So I'll lay out some more specific as we move through, but there is kind of a hierarchy of care at OCC, and I kind of want to lay it out for you. You have a handout here to follow along, and I just want you to know what we're asking of you as far as where you fit in the hierarchy of care. And the way we see it is, we have our senior pastor who's really looking after the whole group, but specifically as far as people assignments looking after, he's really looking after the whole church through our staff. So he's making sure that our pastoral staff and all of our staff and some very, very high level leaders are taken care of and are able to accomplish their mission and their role in our congregation, and that they're being looked after and discipled and developing in their spiritual growth and just in life in general. And then the staff is actually looking after their kind of key roles. And so for me, my staff role is I'm looking after you guys as life group leaders, growth group leaders. We have FLDC mentors, and the FLDC mentors and life group leaders really are kind of seen in the same category. And you are probably our first line responders for caring for the majority of our people. Not everybody at OCC is in a group, so obviously it's not everybody, but a lot of people are. So we're kind of working towards you and your core team as being the primary source for looking after the however many people are in your group for that season. So think about yourself that way. That's not meant to intimidate you. It's meant to encourage you and to equip you. And I'll do my best with other training programs and with FLDC training and other things to really give you the equipping to pull that role off, as well as God just really helping you and guiding you and leading you. And then from there, your role is to really invest in your core team as well as your group members. And you can kind of use your core team also when appropriate to help group members. So that's kind of the hierarchy. And so think about yourself as you're the first responders for care at OCC for the people in your group. So here's some examples of really just some ways that you can provide care. This isn't all encompassing. It's somewhat just, these are just examples. And so there's you may never do some of these, and you may do more than what's on this list. So, but you can check this out. And this is really a good way to kind of look after people as they're going through just normal life, and then occasionally applying personalized discipleship. And what I mean, I'll talk about personalized discipleship in a moment, but what I really mean by that is simply that's kind of helping people walk through life and figure out, how does the Bible apply to this situation? Or what do I need help in my next steps towards whatever I'm facing today? And what people are really facing today is we're still navigating, even though people are saved, people are in the process of either becoming a Christian or they are a Christian and they're maturing. And as they mature, we're all kind of in the same categories, just learning and growing in our faith to overcome the power, the kind of remaining power of sin in our personal lives, and the remaining power of sin that's just over the world in general, and living with the effects of that as we really do allow the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit works in our life to produce fruit. And people need help. They need relational help and learning how to navigate that and grow. And so you can provide that when needed and when appropriate. So here's some examples of looking after people. You really want to celebrate acknowledge these type of events when they happen in people's lives. So marriages, engagements, births of children, birthdays, new jobs, and you'll do this at a variety of different ways. Promotions, graduations, when they move, tough decisions you really want to encourage and highlight in a person's life, or just other positive status changes that people go through. You also really want to check in on and mourn with people who are experiencing, and maybe even provide care when they're experiencing serious illnesses, hospitalizations, injuries, loss of jobs, death in a family, breakups. Pretty serious breakups can be hard. Divorce is incredibly difficult. Significant hardships, emotional, spiritual, and cognitive hardships. And then just any other negative status changes or difficulties that people are going on. And in order to do this, you kind of have to know your people. And it may be that you're knowing them through a core team member, or you know them directly. So sometimes it takes time to really learn what's going on in people's lives as you develop cohesion in your group. Personalized discipleship. I'm not going to thoroughly train you on how to do that, because that's really what our Family Life Development Center training is for, is really learning how to come alongside people and help them grow and really figure out your role and what they need and what their next steps are. And so that really helps them. We also do have formalized discipleship training programs such as Horizon and North Star, and those are helpful as well regarding this. And your help may be just encouraging someone to check one of those out if you think they need something a little more formalized and getting help. But you really want to, people are going to need a variety of help from you, and they're going to need basic questions of just like, how the Bible applies to real life, or hey, just practical wisdom, to maybe bigger questions of how do I actually live this way, or how do I apply this to my life, and it's how do I make this big decision. And then occasionally some people are going to be in some real bondage to sin or to whatever, and they're going to need help. At least you may have to figure out what is your help to them in that situation, and it may be referring them up the chain of command at our church. And you can really discuss with your coach about your next steps when you find yourself working with people who are in some serious bondage. But it's really helpful though, even if you don't thoroughly help someone overcome the bondage while they're in your group. What is helpful is for you to work with them in identifying the bondage and seeing if they're at a place where they're ready to get some help from it. And that may be all you do. And that's really helpful. So be working with your coach on just talking through the people in your groups and figuring out, do I have a next step? And your next step may just be, I just need to get to know this person, see how they tick, see where they're at. And that may be as far as you get. And maybe their next group, they can go a little bit further. So get help. Get supervision if you're in the FLDC program, and you can really hopefully have some opportunities to really help some people take some next steps. Here's some practical ways just to provide care as you're kind of walking through all of these. First of all, it's just visitation. If somebody in your group is in the hospital, or if one of their kids is in the hospital, try to just go and visit them. If it's not you, try to find somebody in your group that it would make sense and send them, like your core team or even just someone in your group. And if you can, at least just call your coach and let them know, look, nobody can go visit this person. Is there anybody else in our church? But really kind of see that as your responsibility or priority to make sure that they're at least visited if they're in the hospital or somebody else is. At least there's an attempt to visit, an attempt to reach out. Providing meals when people have babies or there's illnesses or whatever you think, really is helpful. You don't want to provide more than a couple weeks and of 5 days a week of meals though. And you can use Take Them a Meal. There's different apps you can use online that helps with that. And you can have a core team set this up if you don't do it yourself. But really utilizing that to care for people is a helpful tool that we've used to really serve our people in a time of just very practical needs. So check that out, but do not provide more than a couple weeks, about 5 days a week of meals, because we can't sustain that every person. Helping with a move is really important. I have a whole video on how to help them with the move, so you can watch that at a later time or if you've already watched it. So check out that video, but this is a really great way to go about doing that. And then providing childcare, just if somebody's in need, and let's say the couple just needs a date, or they need to go somewhere and they just need childcare, you know, that's another practical need. And then planning and facilitating as a core team, the welcome party and the marriage celebration is a great way to just celebrate with people and partner with them during a really big status change in their life. And so we do ask that you provide those to all the members of your group, and you can watch a whole separate video about how to pull those off that I've created. And then last but not least, but just providing one-on-one counseling related to felt needs can be helpful. You need to really talk with your coach about how to go about this and how often you should do it and what that looks like. And supervision will be provided for you, but this will really allow you to work with people like in some of the areas that I've already mentioned. So I hope this is helpful. This is really just kind of meant to be a detailed survey of how you as a life group leader are really being asked to provide care in your group. And we have lots of other training paradigms to equip you in pulling that off. Take care.